Hi everyone, I hope you're having a great day. Crypto markets are looking pretty good today. We've got Bitcoin up over 4%, BNB over 2.5%, Ethereum over 3.5%, even XRP is up 1.5%. So we've got a little bit of crypto news to talk about and a decent amount of crypto whales. And there's actually one whale transaction that has to do with XRP and Ripple. So we're going to get to that towards the end of the video. Let's go ahead and get started. Up first, Ripple advances RLUSD testing inside Monetary Authority of Singapore sandbox built on the XRP ledger. And from Ash Crypto, Bitcoin breaks above $79,000, the highest level in 2 months. $48 million worth of shorts have been liquidated in just 1 hour alone. And from the crypto exchange Bitrue, turn on your notifications. XRP 4.5% APR flexible staking incoming. As XRP gains attention from crypto, trade and deposit XRP early to get ready for the next XRP earn launch on Bitrue. Get started now before the launch with their flexible staking options. You deposit XRP now to stake at usual 0.8% APR flexibly. All users are eligible to stake up to 7,000 XRP. And if you subscribe, you can earn 4.5% APR once launched. And that launches on April 27th at 2 UTC for a limited time only. Deposit XRP now and get ready for XRP earn. That's over on Bitrue. Also, XRP adds $1.6 billion to its market cap. This happened just earlier. And from Ash Crypto, he goes on to say that this is massive for crypto. Russia just passed the crypto regulation bill to allow businesses and companies to use crypto as payment for cross-border and foreign trade settlements, even under sanctions. Bitcoin and Ethereum are expected to be the first assets approved under the framework. And XRP records $65.9 million in ETF inflows that fuels the rally as Quantum Roadmap unveiled. And SoFi adds XRP deposits alongside Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, becoming one of the first nationally chartered U.S. banks to offer XRP trading from FDIC-insured cash accounts. And 60% of Swift-listed banks have a connection with Ripple. And now moving on to these whale alerts. So we have about 24 hours ago, $210 million in USDT that went from the Tether Treasury to an unknown wallet. We have $200 million in USDT, also to an unknown wallet. Nearly $200 million in USDT that went to Athena. $250 million in USDC minted at the Treasury. Another $250 million also minted at the Treasury. And then, here we go, 50 million XRP. That's worth approximately $71.5 million. That went from Ripple over to an unknown wallet. What do you guys think that is? Then we have $100 million in USDT that went from Bitfinex to the Tether Treasury. Then we also have 100 million in USDT from the Tether Treasury to Bitfinex. $118 million in Pi USD that went to Paxos Treasury. $122 million in Pi USD burned at the Treasury. $200 million in USDT that went to Binance. Nearly $120 million in USDC that went to an unknown wallet. Almost $390 million in Bitcoin that went to an unknown wallet. $234 million in Bitcoin to an unknown wallet. $200 million in USDT that went to Binance. Nearly $200 million in USDC that was minted at the Treasury. We have $200 million in USDC went from the Tether Treasury, from the USDC Treasury over to Coinbase. And then we've got 200 million in USDC minted at the Treasury. 200 million again from the Tether Treasury, this time over to Coinbase. And that looks like that's it. Now looking at XRP's price, it is doing good. It's up to about $1.46. We have 2 days of candle closure in the green. And so far, that trend pattern is looking pretty good. As I mentioned before, 3 days shows a strong trend, suggesting a further continuation up, right? So you have a higher probability of it climbing up than it going down. And we did see some pullback here, but currently, after it bounced essentially off that $1.40 level, it was a little bit lower, almost $1.39. But it has since then come back up nearly $1.46, and you're going to see some challenges taking place right around $1.51, $1.50, $1.51, and then if it goes above $1.60, it's really looking like it has that opportunity to go all the way up here to $1.83. Yeah, there's this instance up here to at $1.67, but these points right here, they're not so significant. Really, we got to just try and make sure we get above $1.50 psychologically, and then you have that run up to $1.75, and then up here to around $1.83. Okay, that's what I got for you guys in today's video. And if you haven't already, go check me out and drop me a follow over on Blue Sky. I'm at Crypto Atlas over there. And also, if you want to show extra support, you can become a YouTube member, or you can check me out on Patreon. I'm Crypto Atlas over there. And that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much. God bless, be safe, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.